Hello trainers, it's your favorite content creator Ganetto with more Great League action. So today we dive into Go Battle League and we try to showcase a team that can be used as a budget one. Well, you might see something like a Skarmory here that requires a lot of Stardust to unlock its second move, but hold on a little bit because I am gonna tell you why and how to make this team budget if you do not have the resources yet. Well, let's start off with the Pokemon of the hour, Vigoroth over here. You are not gonna need another move other than Body Slam. Most likely you're gonna need the Bulldoze for those steel types, but still you have your counter and Body Slam combo set to go against those Pokemon as well. So having Bulldoze is a nice asset but not a game changer for Vigoroth, so this is gonna be a very nice safe pick for you to have on your team. And I believe that Vigoroth is also gonna be on the optimal scenario to have any safe pick out there towards its advantage, especially with shields up. Skarmory is another Pokemon that I enjoy recommending on trainers that do not have the resources to build a lot of Pokemon for Great League. You do not need a second move at all, just go with your Air Slash and Sky Attack combo and you're gonna be just fine. Those two moves are gonna cover the entire meta. You do not need Brave Bird at all because you can still go with almost two Sky Attacks on the opponent, still pressure down the enemy, and of course the biggest asset of Skarmory is gonna be its steel typing, resisting a lot of things, and of course it's flying as well because it is the only steel type Pokemon that is not gonna take super effective damage from those ground type moves. With that said, we got Skarmory on the lead here on this team, Vigoroth on the safe swap and Swampert as a closer. Of course Swampert requires a community day move, but if you do not have a Swampert, you can always use something like a Whiscash. That Pokemon is also pretty amazing. You're gonna see pretty fast that Whiscash is gonna unleash a lot of pressure to the opponent with the back-to-back Mud Bombs and of course Blizzard for sub coverage against those grass types that absolutely wall down any groundwater Pokemon, the Mud Boy in general. So Swampert that we have here is not gonna be a Whiscash of course, but it can still pressure the opponent and I prefer it over any other Pokemon, any other Mud Boy actually, because it has access to Hydro Cannon and Hydro Cannon does more damage and more work than Mud Bomb, and it is of course a budget option as well if you have the community day move. We had some events on the past, not only on the December, not only on its community day as a Mudkip, but also we had a make-up community day for the Mudkip about 3 months ago, so you might have quite what it takes to build this Pokemon up and you're gonna find yourself on a very cool point, because look at that Swampert over here. We're getting overwhelmed by those seed bombs, but we can still hold on our Swampert because we have the back-to-back Hydro Cannons dealing 50% of damage to that Revenant, and if we can time this right, you can see that another Hydro Cannon is coming up, gonna take the shield, and we still have energy for one more because with Mud Shots those Hydro Cannons charge up really fast, and we even won a counter, a pure natural counter to Swampert, that Trevenant. So this team overall, it is gonna be a pretty solid one. Skarmory up on the lead, Vigoroth as a safe switch, and Swampert as a closer, but you can always play it with a single move Skarmory up on the lead, a single move Vigoroth at the back, and of course a Whiscash instead of Swampert if you do not have a Swampert with Hydro Cannon. Surf really does good work, to be honest, if you do not have a Hydro Cannon, but if you have access to Whiscash is just gonna do just better work in comparison with that Surf version of Swampert. So if you also do not have Skarmory, you can always try using something like an Altaria, because Altaria is also a budget option. You do not need at all your Moonblast because it's a community move. Just go with Dragon Breath, Sky Attack, and keep Dragon Pulse for coverage, and even if you do not have for some reason the resources to unlock a second move, just go with Sky Attack, you are gonna be just fine. A very good and nice thing to say over here is that Swampert, unlike the other options, requires only 10,000 Stardust to unlock its second move alongside all the other starters, and of course Altaria might require 400 candies to evolve it, but you also have 10,000 Stardust to unlock its second move, which makes those Pokemon a budget option overall. So having other Pokemon, other starters, we can start by choosing Venusaur, Charizard, and of course Empoleon, because those three are gonna be pretty useful to have. Also Meganium, but they all require their community day moves like this Swampert that we have on this team. If you have a Shadow Swampert, just go for it, you are not gonna regret it because it deals much more damage, and to be honest, Swampert is already a little bit classy. You are not gonna have a lot of bulk on its non-Shadow version as well, so Shadow really helps a lot on the offensive part, and you're gonna be on a very good spot overall. Having now this matchup here against the Azumarill, and you are already seeing that we are not running Sludge Wave, just having access to our Earthquake, and because my Earthquake I think failed there, I'm just gonna go now with a switch out to my Vigoroth after Skarmory is coming in, and they have Cantonia Ninetales. Cantonia Ninetales, another kind of budget option if you want to use a Pokemon like this, a Fire type, if you're looking for a Fire type, because you can use it with Fire Spin or Ember as a fast attack, and of course have Weather Ball only for its second move. Basically something like a Shadow Victory Bell with a Razor Leaf to pressure down the opponent, and because only it is Shadow you can absolutely go ahead and wreck your opponent. So that's Ninetales on its fire form. So yeah, you can always use this Pokemon, but I think that you also have other options as well. Using here the Brave Bird to finish off this Azumarill, and I think grabbing the win is gonna be really awesome, but still you can see that Sky Attack could easily do the job there and still take the win. So next on trainers against the Stunfisk this time, a really bad lead, and let's see how this team can overcome those bad leads as well, because we might have good matches, we might explain the budget picks and stuff like that, but we have here quite what you might need with that Vigoroth coming up in against this Altaria on the Switch. This is gonna be a pretty weird option to be honest, because we can still take a lot of damage, but I do not care at all because I just want my Vigoroth to take at least a shield out or just pressure the enemy. You're gonna see that Skarmory is not getting absolutely gold by that Stunfisk matchup. You still have some options and you still have some answers for that opponent. You can see also that this team in total works pretty well on the synergy part, because those two Pokemon, the back Swampert and Vigoroth, can protect that Skarmory from the steel types, and of course you're gonna have a lot of coverage with Skarmory and Vigoroth against the grass types that your Swampert is afraid of. Going in now with my Swampert, as we are talking about it, against this Azumarill, gonna bait the shield, and you saw there that what I did, I bait the shield. This was really huge because most Swamperts out there run Sludge Wave, so having that bait option on your mind as well can help a lot. However, I decided to pick Earthquake on my Swampert because I feel like it is a better closer overall, and we're gonna take here the player off on our shield since we cannot finish it off right on time, but this Azumarill now is out of competition because it has only 1 HP and a single Mudshot can do the work there. So we have to rely here on our Skarmory to finish off the job. Here comes the Brave Bird, here comes the big boom on the Stunfisk, and look at that trainers. We're just gonna get rock slided here, but we do not care at all because Swampert still has some HP, still has some energy, and we're just gonna take the victory overall. So now let's move forward into the next one, and let's start the real commentary with another Stunfisk up on the lead. Can we overcome this super bad lead, trainers? Let's see together. So Vigoroth is coming in as a safe switch, a budget safe switch option. Gonna answer with that Bulldoze, dealing a nice chunk out of Vigoroth, and this is why this Vigoroth is actually a very nice and safe pick to use overall. Even if you do not have Bulldoze here, straight Body Slam is the way to go. You're gonna deal about the same damage, so you're gonna be on a very good spot overall. Having that Body Slam landing, we're gonna farm it down with the counters, and they have the Stunfisk which returns. At this point they might be thinking, okay, we got Vigoroth out of the way, now perhaps they have something else at the back, but we got the Swampert and they have a Venusaur, so we won this line line of 3 purely by the starting line, so we can safely take here the moves and we're just gonna farm down. My opponent knows that and they're just gonna bail out, taking this victory. Hydreigon up on the next one, and we're facing a very neutral threat, to be honest, because Hydreigon recently had its community day move added, Brutal Swing. So this move actually deals a lot of damage, and because Hydreigon has a really nice attack stat, it can still pressure our steel typing heavy defensively Pokemon bird. Yeah, that was a lot of adjectives for that Pokemon. But anyway, Shadow Punch is coming through. We are part Shadow, and this is one of the few reasons that you might want to use a regular Swampert over the Shadow, since you cannot take those Shadow Punches and other cheap moves that easily. Gonna block the second Shadow Punch here because I want to maintain that Swampert that I have, and most probably I'm gonna use another Hydro Cannon before I faint on whatever comes in. And they have a Hydreigon, which is not what I was expecting, so they're just gonna farm it down, and we have to come in now with my Vigoroth and completely farm down all that energy. Brutal Swing dealing massive damage. They have that Bomba Snow, and here comes the Body Slam spam. We also have one more, I guess, but let's switch out to our Sky Attacker because this move is just gonna be what we need to finish this Bomba Snow off. And of course Hydreigon has no chance at all at this amount of HP to do anything, and we're gonna take another useful victory. Next one, Skarmory against Nidoqueen, and this is why Skarmory is gonna be a very good option. Not only can beat the grass types, not only it has a lot of neutral coverage, but also it can beat down and wall down those Nidoqueens, because Poison Fangs, Poison Jabs are gonna be resisted, also Earth Power is gonna be resisted, and Stone Edge might be the only move that is gonna be neutral, but still who runs Stone Edge, and it is also not stab at all, meaning that Nidoqueen is gonna be a very good option to have it against your Skarmory. So on the switch here we have, and we are forced to block against this Umbreon, and after that we're just gonna go for the Body Slam, keeping that lead scenario towards our advantage. They have a Scrafty, so that means my Swampert cannot come in. Gonna go in with Skarmory and try to do our best. Power Up Punches are not gonna be enough to threat us at using a shield at any point of the match, so we have to go here for the Sky Attack and actually rely on using straight Power Up Punches, not gonna go for foul play, which is what is happening, to be honest, and hopefully we can reach to another move, but we cannot. And I was thinking here, shall I block, shall I not, and then it hit me. Just farm down with Swampert and finish off the match. They know that Swampert over Nidoqueen 100% of the times, so this team works really well towards the coverage for Vigoroth as well, because both the lead option, that Skarmory, and Swampert as a closer can both protect that Vigoroth on against that Nidoqueen, because counters are resisted, and of course Body Slams are not gonna be enough to finish off Nidoqueen, so the other two Pokemon can also help. A really good and synergical team to have on your asset, so give this team a shot, trainers, because you are not gonna regret it. A lot of budget picks that can work towards your advantage. So Walrein here against our Vigoroth, you're already seeing that Vigoroth is putting off a lot of work on the switch all the time, going in now with the Body Slams against this Azumarill. We also took a shield out of them, which can work towards our advantage, because Shadow Swampert is gonna come in eventually and finish off the match. Even if we did not have something like Swampert, and let's say we had something like a Whiscash on the closing part, still we could be on a very good spot, because Blizzard is another nice nuke move that you can have, especially against the Flyers and the grass types, and especially with Shield Jab. Yeah, so here comes now the Ice Beam. We have to block with Glassy, and as I said before, we are Shadow, we cannot take moves that easily now. Let's go with the Earthquake, gonna boom down this Drapion, and we're gonna take the victory. They had to rely on the fact that we could have Sludge Wave, but we did not, and we're gonna take the victory. Yeah, so next on trainers, Zweilous up on the lead, and we're facing on the switch the Marowak. Yeah, that was a mistake. I should have gone in there with my Swampert, but it's still good because we have Bulldoze. I know what you're thinking now. Okay, Ganeto, you said about budget teams. What is this Bulldoze? What's happening? Well, I had to go for Bulldoze, okay? And if you do not have Bulldoze, just go for the bait. You have to learn the baits overall before fighting your opponents and go battling, because you're gonna get much easier wins if you play this right. So we took a shield out, so that makes no sense that we had Bulldoze overall. Gonna try now to switch out to that Zweilous, so we have to answer back with our Skarmory, because Skarmory resists those Dragon Breaths, and of course we have to rely on Swampert to finish off the match. Not gonna block anything at all. Gonna use the Sky Attack, they are gonna take it. So now we might have the chance to go for another Sky Attack, which we can. Down goes Zweilous, and I'm expecting something like this Marowak to return, but they come in with Toxic Rock, and that means that they are double weak to my Swampert, meaning we can win now with 2 shields up. So trainers, as you can see, we're having a very nice budget team for you to try out. I repeat, if you do not have a double move Skarmory, just go with a single move, so that's why it is budget. Also, you only need counter Body Slam for Vigoroth, and against and actually for the closing part, if you do not have Swampert, you can always try and use something like a Whiscash, because it is also a budget option. So that's all, trainers. Thank you for watching, and I hope you had a fantastic time overall. Be sure to leave a like, because it helps this video spread around the world that it exists, and of course subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, because it also helps our little community here expand even more. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers!